So, why publishers don't market your book the way you think they will, and what you as an author can do about it. Okay, so here you are, you have a book deal, and if you're relying on your publisher to do all the marketing for your book deal, your sales are probably going to fall short of your expectations. So, I have spent over 15 years in traditional publishing, and I'm here to tell you that publishers expect you as an author to bring your own marketing plan. So, today I'll show you about like why this is happening and what you can do about it. Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I'm a former in-house marketing manager for traditional publishers. I've worked with authors at every stage, from debut authors to New York Times bestsellers, and I'm here to help you, a mid-list author, sell more books by building strategies that actually move the needle and sell books. Okay, so why publishers don't market your book? Publishers, the first thing, have limited budgets and resources. So they just have limited time and money to spend on books, and a lot of times they spend these on front list titles, front list like big celebrity, or their big titles for the year, right? And so why this happens is that book publishers have paid these celebrities or big name authors a ton of money in their advance. And the advance is going to be paid out no matter how many books are actually sold. So in order for them to make some of their money back, they have to sell a lot of books, right? So that's why that's happening. And then as a mid-list author or even a debut, you get less spend because your advance was less than these big name authors. And so they've taken like less of a gamble on you, and they think that they can, it'll be easier for them to recoup their money back with you. Okay, so um, publishers are in the business of making money, and so are you. So remember that. And this is the thing that a lot of authors don't get and don't understand is that publishers are marketing, but they're marketing to other retailers. They're marketing to bookstores. They're marketing to Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, Target, Anthropologie, Crate and Barrel, wherever books are sold. These are the people that your publisher is marketing to, which is different than who you should be marketing to. And so when publishers sell to these accounts, so your independent bookseller, The Strand, Green Apple, whatever, that's called sell in. Okay, so they are working on selling your book into a retailer. Okay, so this is what your publisher is doing, and then this is why, as a midlist author, maybe your publisher is not spending as much time and money on you as you would like. So what does this mean for you as an author? So depending on the size of your publisher and how many books they're publishing in your season, your book will probably get the most attention the month before it comes out and your on sale month. And inside tip, your publisher's team, the editor, your marketer, your publicist, your designer, everybody, they're working on multiple seasons at a time. So you have to take that into consideration. They want to give your book the best shot it has, like out in the world, but they also have like a million other books that they're working on. Okay, so remember that. And then sometimes when your book has come out, I've heard so many people say this to me, like, why isn't my book selling? I've worked with hundreds of authors and I've heard that. And it's not because the book is bad, it's because it's a visibility problem. People don't know that your book exists, right? And if they don't know it exists, they can't go buy it. Okay. So what should you do as an author? Like how can you change this, right? How can you have more of your book sell? And so the first thing is build your author platform. I know, author platform is like a sore spot and sort of topic for so many authors, and I don't know why. Maybe because it's a lot of work, but by building your author platform, you're going to have people who want to buy your book. You're going to know that these people are interested, right? And so even after you have an agent, and even after you have a publisher, you can't ignore your platform then, you have to continue building it. And as an author, your main goal is to sell to the consumer. Your main goal is to have one of your community members, readers, go from their home into an independent bookstore, go to the shelf, pick up your book, and bring it to the cash register, right? Or if we're talking online, you want to be directing people to bookshop.org, your book page, and having them buy the book and check out, right? Because you're working on sell through, right? And that's selling through to the actual consumer. Another insider tip, book sales don't count towards your royalties until the end consumer buys it. So even if your publisher does an amazing job and gets your book into so many bookstores, so many retailers, those sales like don't count towards your royalty until a consumer buys them, okay? Because also books are a returnable product for these retailers. Okay, so again, your job as an author is to get people into stores or online and buying your book, right? So do you see how those are two different things? You are working on that end consumer, and your publisher is working on that B2B sale, right? That sale to Barnes and Noble, right? So those are two different things. Okay, so the next thing you must do is focus on your reader's journey. Okay, so this is readers need to be aware of you and trust you before they purchase your book. So, and that takes a lot of time, you know. So let's kind of like go through one example. Let's say a reader hears you on a podcast, right? So they hear you on a podcast, and where do people listen to podcasts? Maybe when they're washing dishes, maybe when they're on a run, maybe when they're doing whatever, right? Okay, so they hear you on the podcast, but then, and they like what you have to say, but they have to follow you on social media or figure out your website or figure out something like about you before they forget or get distracted, right? So somebody has to hear you on a podcast, then immediately go follow you on social, right? That's probably like the easiest thing for them to do. Then after being on social, they have to see you. They have to like trust you, right? They might not trust you from just one podcast episode. So that trust takes time to build. So then after that, they have to maybe join your email list, join your Substack, right? And then finally they will buy your book later. I think that there's very few times, or no, I think I think that being on a podcast is really great exposure, and I think that a lot of podcasts drive sales a lot, but you also have to be out there and available and building trust with this group of people, right? I definitely think there are some people that listen to a podcast and then go out immediately and buy that guest book, right? But there's a lot of people who need a little bit more encouragement. They need a little bit more reminding. And how you do that is by building that trust and nurturing them through an email list, through a Substack, through a YouTube channel, through Instagram, through TikTok, whatever it is, right? So this is a lot, but you can do it. And the third thing is you need to build relationships with your people, readers, peers, etc., right? Because genuine relationships are key for really effective marketing. So let me give another example. So when you're an author, you're basically always asking people to do stuff for you. Come to my event, leave a blurb, leave a review, help me host an event. Maybe you want to borrow someone's audience, right? And all of these asks are easier to ask of somebody you know versus a stranger, right? So creating really good relationships with people also helps you build momentum, and it also helps you build visibility, and it also helps you build that core audience behind you. Okay. So let me give you a little example of how this has worked. So I'm thinking of one author in particular. I started working with her, I think a month or two after her debut book came out. And it was selling like okay, but she really wanted to build momentum because she really believed in her message and she really believed that her book could help people. So we worked together and for a way to like capture that excitement and bring people on this journey with her, right? On the reader's journey. And for her, that was starting a Substack, right? Substack is great. It's not for everybody, but would work for her. So I shared with her why a Substack would be so good. I said, like Instagram is great, which she had like like a decent following, but I was like, you can't control the algorithm of Instagram. But on Substack, you like own those names, right? And so it also gives you so she would own those names and she could give people more information than just 1 minute clips. So together we worked or on a Substack strategy. I gave her a roadmap of how to be successful and also created like a 3 month editorial calendar for her. Okay. So then our time together ended and she didn't do anything, right? Life got in the way. She had other huge projects to work on. And so it kind of like lingered. But finally, when she did, it took her a while. Finally, when she started the Substack, it was amazing. It was because she had the plan in place. She knew how to bring people on this journey, right? She knew that people would come in at different points of their journey of knowing her. And she was ready. So she spent some time like getting posts ready. She could be really consistent posting without, even though her life got really busy, her life and work. And it was amazing because after she started her Substack, she got onto some amazing podcasts and continued to build her visibility. She also, on my recommendation, started building relationships with other people, not necessarily people in directly in her kind of niche, but people who needed to hear the information that she had, right? Okay. And so what did this do? So her debut book randomly or like periodically pops up into the Amazon top 100 books, which is amazing because um that means it's, constantly being sold. She has been on so many podcasts. Her book has been reprinted. And best of all, she just had her second book deal signed and she's working on it, right? She really did the work to get that second book deal, right? And so if you're a midlist author, what you need to continue doing, right? How you can get a bigger deal, how you can get more money, how you can get a bigger advance, right? Is to like continue selling your book. And when you continue selling your book, your publisher will see that and be like, oh, okay, this author knows what they're doing, right? Maybe we should give them a little bit more money because they've been working so hard, right? They've built their audience bigger. They know how to market, right? They know how to promote. So, if you take one thing from this video, I want you to know that publishers are marketing your book just to retailers. That's different than what you as an author are doing. You as an author should be marketing to your end consumer, your reader, right? That person that's going to go into a bookstore and pick your book up off the shelf and bring it to the register, right? Knowing this helps you figure out a plan that works for you, right? This helps you create a better strategy, and also helps you just create like be better at promoting your book. So if you want more strategies and insider tips like this, follow me on my Substack. It's called the FAQs. I'll put it in the caption. Thanks for being here. See you next time.